Hi, aupair.com. I would love to share our wonderful experience that we had with an au pair very recently. Our au pair was here from France. It was a lovely lady. She was 22 years old. As a matter of fact, she celebrated her 22nd birthday with us in the family. She was here for about 8 months and looking after our little son, who was not quite 2 at the time. And it was a wonderful experience. We welcomed her at the airport and she was very nervous. It was her first time being overseas. So welcomed her in our home, and it took a little while to settle in. It took maybe 3 months for her to find her groove, as it was the first time looking after a child forever, or it was the first time that she'd ever looked after a child as well. So that was a fun process. And our little one was also then speaking French with her, which was a major bonus for us, because although I speak French fluently, it's not my first language and it's not my default. So it really takes a lot of effort for me to be the one to speak to speak French with my son. And yet we really wanted him to have that exposure. So having a French au pair has been amazing and was incredible. And the process through aupair.com was really easy, straightforward, and everything was up front. So it was wonderful. We didn't feel like there was anything hidden from us, and we were able to communicate freely and openly with our au pair, which was a major criteria for us. And it just felt right and it all lined up. So we had a wonderful experience. The most important thing for us when choosing an au pair was definitely that they were able to bring the French language to our son, and then someone who would care for our son like we would as well. It's very hard for us letting go and trusting someone else with our son or a child, and that was a really big step. So to feel and connect with her before she made the move over here to Canada was very special and very wonderful, and everything just felt right. So she settled into her own room and found her independence with a bicycle that we got for her. We live very centrally in our touristy town, and it's very flat here, so she was able to do a lot of bike riding, a lot of sightseeing, and get out and enjoy the beautiful long summer nights that we have here as well. It took a little while for our son to get used to hanging out with our au pair as opposed to mommy and daddy. Very expected, very normal. But then by the end of it, he didn't want her to leave, and he asks about her all the time still. She's been gone a fair few months now, and he still asks for photos of her. And this was actually one of the most special things that she did as our au pair, is she brought a Polaroid camera. So we have all these beautiful little special memories that she took. And we look back on all these little Polaroids all the time and can have them with us. And it's also been a really great way for our son to look back and just remember her whenever he thinks of it, because he goes and looks at the Polaroid pictures and he talks about them and looks at her other photos that she sent. So we had some really, really wonderful times. We are still in touch with our au pair as well. Some little moments of her reading to our son on the living room floor. We took her to Vancouver and we did some hiking. That was really fun. And they loved playing Play-Doh nearly every day together. So that was a great time as well. So lots of very special memories. We really do hope to have her back at some point, even just for a visit. But we had a very, very beautiful, positive experience with it. I believe also that our au pair was satisfied with our family, and yes, there were adjustments to make. Yes, she was living in a different home, trying different foods, but she was open to trying new things, and that was all we asked for. She did a little bit of cooking as well and wanted to do some baking for us, which was lovely. And yes, I believe that it was probably one of the most enriching, expanding experiences for her to live away from home, to experience how another family lives. And we had a really, really great deep chat just before she left. And she basically just said that it's been the absolute best thing to experience something other than all that she's known, which is living in her family home. So she learned a lot and was exposed to different ways of communicating and different ways of doing things and different ways of navigating all sorts of life things. So I believe that she really genuinely got a lot out of that experience, even though we weren't necessarily trying to do anything different. She was just part of our life and our family. As much or as little as she wanted, we left that completely up to her. And yeah, it was a really beautiful, rewarding, wonderful experience overall. One thing that we'd recommend that other families do is connect with your au pair via a video call a couple of times, maybe multiple times before you have them over, and just have general conversation. Maybe chat with their family members or their siblings or anyone else, because it really is a family relationship, I believe, especially depending on the age of the au pair. But for the younger au pairs, it is a family relationship, and it's lovely to connect with them via video call before you meet them in real life, for both parties' ease and for the whole process to go a lot smoother, I believe. I don't think there's anything you should avoid at all costs. If it feels right, if it feels lined up, and everything works out and flows smoothly, awesome. If not the end of the world. You can go your separate ways. But overall, we had a really positive experience, and thank you very much, aupair.com, for your assistance in this.